Vanessa, good to see you. Welcome back to Pop Turnative. It's been a while.
It has. Good to see you too.
Good to see you. It's interesting, right? Because this kind of script to screen kind of journey really interests me. So, you're reading, season two of Plan B, new story, new characters, anthology. What is that like for you specifically, kind of reading it and then actually going and filming it and seeing it kind of come to life on screen?
Oh man. It's interesting because I read it and I actually got to see the French version as well. So I had kind of two perspectives to draw from, and then I just did my deep dive into this character study.
Absolutely. A show like this has so many kind of elements. There's, the drama, there's the kind of like self-reflection, these characters figuring things out. There's obviously time traveling. What kind of stands out to you the most when you're reading the script, even before filming, just reading the material, Vanessa?
It's always the vulnerabilities and the struggles of the character. Like, I'm deeply attracted to people who are flawed. And I think Mia Coleman, for me, feels flawed in so many ways and goes through such a huge change from really a little girl to adult.
Is it more fun or more challenging from an acting storytelling perspective, playing these flawed, lost characters? Because in a lot of ways, especially from an audience member watching it on TV, a lot of these characters don't realize they're lost, right? So I'm just curious how that's like for you from an acting perspective.
That to me is way more fun, way more interesting. It keeps me going.
Yeah.
That's sort of a lot of characters, not a lot, but there are some characters that, are written that don't have this sort of full complex backstory. And that's something that usually actors will create on their own, in private when they're doing their prep. This was, prep meets film, and it was just a beautiful synergy of that.
Absolutely. Plan B is returning on CBC Gem on August 11th. And I'm just curious because you've been doing this a lot in terms of, a new show, you rap, you play the waiting game, and then a new season comes out. What do you think is something that is the most kind of like exciting thing about the whole overall kind of rollout plan of a show getting out there specifically? Is it just the fact that it is many steps? Is it like, what is that like for you as an actor?
I love this business, so that's first and foremost. I mean, there's aspects of it obviously that I don't love, but I love every part of making a television show, from concept to writing to the prep. Every part of it feels so collaborative, and that's what I think is like the most enjoyable part, is just seeing how every single department comes together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's perfect segue to my next question. A couple more questions here. I mean, so much happens before you go to camera on Plan B. There's a lot of discussions, figuring out the characters and everything. Then you go film it. In a lot of ways, from an acting storyteller perspective, you can look at it as two journeys, right? Before filming Plan B and then after filming Plan B. Or do you look at it as one big journey with multiple steps in between? I'm curious about that.
I look at it as before and then after. I mean, there's only, you can prep and you can prepare and you can do all the reading and all the research, which I did. I did a few months of just head down and really developing who she is. And then things change. Things change drastically once you get into the room with other actors and you get into the room with the director, and writing changes and vibes change. And so it really feels like kind of almost two separate processes, and you almost forget about the first part once you're, knee deep into the second part.
Absolutely. So well said. I feel like the answer to this question is either no or you try not to, but sometimes just kind of like with discussions and figuring it out. Are you ever conscious of the audience member watching Plan B while you're making it? Or is that something that happens a little bit after you wrap specifically?
Um, while I'm actually filming, between action and cut, definitely no.
Yeah.
Um, and I would say maybe the answer is no overall. My focus is always to tell the story.
Yep.
So I always pull back to the overall story that I'm trying to tell, especially in a leading role place. I
Mhm.
definitely have to keep the whole totality of the story in check. Otherwise, I'll go off into my own world.
Absolutely. And then my last question is, essentially, I'm just curious because, how separate are past projects versus kind of new projects or future projects like Plan B? Like, do you ever bring things mindset wise, preparation from things like Diggstown and Ginny and Georgia to something like Plan B, or are they completely separate once you wrap them specifically?
Completely separate. I mean, and the process is always the same for me in terms of how I, lean in and get into a role. But I never, once I'm done with a role and I know it's completely wrapped and done, I forget about it. I don't even watch it. I haven't even watched Plan B or hardly anything that I've done.
Mhm. You are fantastic in it. Because
Oh,
so I gotta say that you're very good at what you do. So congratulations. And season 2, Plan B, Sunday, August 11th on CBC Gem. That's so good chatting with you again. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
thank you so much. It was really good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.